Now in 7.2, we're going to look at the budgeting process. We're actually going to create a budget here. So in order to create an accurate budget, you have to actually keep track of what you're making and what you're spending. Okay, so you could keep track of your income and expenses for a few months, and then you kind of estimate what you will spend and earn in the future. And remember, your budget is a plan for the future. It's an estimate. You don't know exactly how much you're going to spend, don't know how much money necessarily you're going to make. So you want to create what you call a conservative budget, which means you underestimate your income. So it means less than what you think you're going to make, and you overestimate your expenses, so you do more than. If your income is higher than your expenses, you have a surplus. If you have a surplus in your budget, then you should put that to savings or unexpected expenses to balance your budget. You don't want to just, oh, look, I've got an extra $400. Let's go spend it every month. No, you want to save that in case something comes up. And if your expenses are higher than your income, you have what you call a deficit. And so then you're going to need to adjust your spending and reduce your expenses so that you can balance your budget, because if you run a deficit, you're going to have to pay that back at some point, and you're not going to have money to do it. So here we got some definitions. Surplus, the amount by which the income exceeds expenses, and deficit, the amount by which expenses exceed income. So if you might have heard with the recent elections a lot about governments running a deficit. That means they're spending more than they're getting in. Okay, so that might be where you've heard the word more recently. Okay, so to make your budget, you're going to need to group your expenses into categories like housing, food, transportation, entertainment, etc. And each category can include several transactions. So food, you might buy groceries, for example, at the grocery store a few times, and then maybe like 4 times, and you eat 3 meals at restaurants. That's all food. Okay, so let's take a look at example 1. Just make it a bit bigger again. So we have Kate. She works on salary, and she earns $22.5909 per month. She kept track of her monthly expenses for a period of 6 months. Okay, so here's everything that she did over 6 months. We want to use this information to calculate her average monthly expenses in each category for the 6-month period. So we're going to add them up and then average them. We're going to divide them by 6. Well, this one we don't have to do. She just spent $450 every month. So if we add them all up and divide them by 6, we should get $450. Let's look at her utilities. So this is her phone, cable, and internet. So in her first month, she spends $150. Then in May it was $125, then $125 again, then $155, $150, and $200. You add those all up together and you get $905. You divide that by 6 and we're at $150.83. Okay. Groceries, well, she had 260 and then 300. And then the next month it was 100 and 275, 150, and 125. So she spends $1,210, and again we'll divide that by 6, and it's $201.67. Okay, so her car payments, we can see it's $175 all the way across. So 175. Gas, that's varying. So you get 90 plus 125 plus 100 plus 200 plus 50 plus 100, and we get 665. Divide by 6, and we have $110.83 for gas. So on average, restaurant meals, first month she spent $120, then 90, then 150, then 120, then 100, and then another 120. So that's 700. Divide that by 6, and we get 116.67. Her entertainment, well, 75 in April, and then 85 in May, 50. July was an expensive month, as was August and September. So she spent $1,085. Find the average. She's spending on average $180.83. Car insurance, we can see that's $115 every single month, so that doesn't change. Clothing, well, she didn't spend anything the first month, and then she spent $75 the next month, then $350. She went on a shopping spree in June, and $45 in July, and $90 in August. So she spent $560. Now you might be looking at this saying, well, she only spent that over 4 months. Yes, but we're still averaging over 6 months, so we're still going to divide it by 6 because she didn't spend anything those other 2 months. So she spends on average $93.33. And then her miscellaneous expenses. So $75, then $50, another $50, $100, another $50, and $75, and that's $400. Divide that by 6, and she spends $66.67. Okay, so we want to create a possible conservative budget for Kate. So if she has a surplus, we're going to allocate any extra money to savings. So again, we need to underestimate her income and overestimate her expenses in each category except for fixed expenses. So let's just say she earns $2,200 a month. So that's a little less than what she's making. Okay. You could even bring it down a bit. We'll go with that. And her expenses, so we've got rent. So, sorry, this first one would just be her salary. Now for rent, that's the same every month, so we can write that down as the $450. Her utilities, etc. Well, we had an average of $150.83. Maybe let's bump that up to $175. Groceries. Groceries, she averaged $201.67, so let's make that $225. Car payment. That one's the same every month, so we can just write that down as $175. Where are we next? Car payment, then gas. So gas, she had $110.83. Let's make it $125. Gas and her restaurant meals. So restaurant meals, $116. So again, let's make that $125. Huh. Then we had entertainment. So entertainment, she averaged $180.83. Let's just make that $200. Entertainment, car insurance. That one's the same every month again, so $115. Clothing. So she was at $93.33. Let's make that $100 a month. And miscellaneous. Okay, we had $66.67, so let's make that $75 a month. Okay. So we've got to figure out what this totals up to. So we're going to add it all up to see if she has any money left over. So she has $450 plus $175 plus $225 plus $175 plus $125 plus $125 again plus $200 plus $115 plus $175, and this totals up to here is $1,765. Whoops, let's just erase that, make it nicer. So $1,765. So is she running a surplus or a deficit? A surplus or a deficit? Well, she's bringing in $2,200. She's only spending $1,765, so she's running a surplus. She's got extra money, so she has money to put into savings. So we take the 2,200 and we subtract the 1,765 she's spending, and she's running a surplus of about $435. So she can save, we should actually put dollar signs in front of all of these. She can save $435 a month if she sticks to this budget approximately.